Last time we decided to go to Red Cliff, but before we left Lothering, we had a run-in with Darkspawn. They were attacking a pair of dwarves.
The name's Bodon Feddick, merchant and entrepreneur. This here is my son, Sandal. Say hello, my boy.
Hello.
And Sandal's not the only one without a beard, by the way. It seems that beards are optional for dwarves. Never thought I'd see the day, but there it is. I mean, a dwarf without a beard is, well, dopey. Anyway, we've got to be off. Red Cliff's quite a ways away from Lothering. In fact, so far that we're going to have to make camp along the way, where Tim has horrible nightmares. He was surrounded by angry fish bitching at him for killing their sacred shark. In actuality, that's the archdemon speaking to the Darkspawn horde. Because of our connection, we can pick it up too. So that's another fringe benefit I'd like to have heard about, before the whole Russian roulette poison drinkers club thing they had. Hopefully there won't be any more surprise. Oh, what the hell?
I saw your camp and thought to myself, what safer place to rest for the evening than in the camp of a Grey Warden? I'm perfectly willing to offer you a fine discount for the inconvenience of our presence. How does that sound? Good?
All right, just don't cause any trouble. I've already got enough to deal with a swamp witch, a zealot, a mass murderer, and a dog that can swallow a watermelon without chewing. You keep your kid on a leash. And what's your history anyway? I thought dwarves preferred to stay underground. He says he's always been a merchant. He just used to be in Orzammar.
One day, a noble woman came to my stall. She looked around for a bit and then started shrieking in dismay. Apparently, she believed that a pair of braces I had for sale once belonged to her brother. He'd been lost in a cave-in, you see, while on an expedition to clear out the Darkspawn from one of the tunnels running close to the city. They were made specially for him. They're unique, she shrieked. He stole them from my poor brother's corpse. She had me arrested on the spot, of course. Nobles, they're touchy like that.
You sold things stolen from the dead? Oh, I'd be outraged, except unfortunately that's precisely the foundation that RPGs have for their economy, looting the dead. I can't be disgusted by this if this camp is supplied by going through the pockets of people I've killed.
People flee from the Blight with good reason, but they forget things. Things with value and meaning. They leave them behind because they're frightened and desperate. And sometimes, my boy and I, we find our way to these places before the horde descends, and we save these things.
Jesus, stop talking, you vulture! On that note, we decide to break camp and continue on to Red Cliff. That's when Alistair fills us in on his heritage. But that's all right. After all we've been through, a little family awkwardness is going to be no problem.
Monsters come out of the castle every night and attack us until dawn. Everyone's been fighting and dying.
What, are you kidding me? After we fled the Darkspawn horde to the city of our salvation, it's facing a completely unrelated doom? Damn it, this is getting annoying. Who the hell's running this circus you call a city anyway?
I should take you to Ban Tegan. He's all that's holding us together.
Alright, Mr. Fancy Pants, want to fill me in on the doom we've stumbled into? I always like to know who I'll be exploding, in a general sense. Though there is a short list of those I'd like to know personally.
Some call them the Walking Dead, decomposing corpses returning to life with a hunger for human flesh.
Okay, well, we can't call them that. Kirkman's going to sue our pants off if we do. Tegan asks Alistair for help, and Tim agrees, much to Morgan's annoyance. But if we're going to get the Jarl's help, it will be easier if we A, help him defend his people, and B, leave him with enough people alive to raise an army. Not all of us can form an army of the Stalking Dead. Yes, The Stalking Dead, an original series by the Financial News Network. But don't worry, we can handle any number of zombies the castle throws at us. Is that an anti-zombie cloud over your head, then? It's meant to drive off annoying people. Obviously, it's broken. Alright, let's see what we've got to work with.
Name's Murdoch, mayor of what's left of the village.
Providing we aren't all killed and hauled off to the castle tonight.
Okay, first thing to do is maybe work on that group morale. "We're all screwed" is not the best battle cry I've heard. Second is to properly equip the men. The blacksmith's being crotchety because his daughter's in the castle. There's no way to know if she's dead or alive, so Tim agrees to go talk with him.
Maker's breath. What is that smell? It's like someone set a brewery on fire.
Somebody's been drinking.
Oh, this'll be good. Nobody's more reasonable than an upset drunk.
She's been my life since my wife passed on 2 years ago. Now she's dead, or soon to be. I don't care what happens to me or the village, or anyone!
Yeah, I figured as much. Might as well amuse ourselves. Hey, Morgan, I'll give you 10 silvers to turn into a giant spider. Let's see what the drunk does. After some coaxing, I get him to agree to do the work, as long as I promise to rescue his daughter from the castle later.
Oh, lovely. Shall we next begin rescuing kittens from trees?
Hey, if you'd turned into a giant spider, I probably wouldn't have needed to make that promise, so shut it. Next, we need to persuade Dwin, a legendary dwarven warrior in the village, to help with the battle. Not to worry, I'm a master of persuasion. Alright, you fun-sized jerk, get out there and protect this village. If you don't, I'll do the worst thing you can imagine. I'll send Sten in here to tell you jokes. A horse walks up to a bar. The bartender asks, "Why do you have a long face?" The horse does not answer, because horses do not talk. The bartender is a fool. Please tip your waitress. In the face of that, Dwin has no choice but to agree. Before we go to talk to the knights who are still here, we stop by the tavern to see if there's anything else we can do to prepare for the battle. The answer could be in any one of those bottles, and we'll never know unless we check.
I'm not here to talk.
There's something about this man's demeanor. I don't know.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
But you do, don't you? I know a spy when I see one. But that day, the rose bush in the corner had flowered. Everyone knew that bush was dead. It was grey and twisted and gnarled, the ugliest thing you ever saw. But there it was, a single beautiful rose. It was as though the Maker stretched out his hand to say, even in the midst of this darkness, there is hope and beauty. Have faith.
To continue our Knights of the Old Republic connection, Leliana is the Mission of Dragon Age. She's not as young, but she possesses the same youthful optimism. She looks on all things and tries to find the good in them. She occupies the same class slot as Mission, who was a scoundrel, except obviously in the medieval setting it would be rogue. They're the lockpickers, the stealthy ones, thieves when you get right down to it. When we first encounter Leliana, she seems about as far from that as can be imagined, an idealistic member of the Chantry. Leliana joins up claiming that she had a dream where the Maker commanded her to join the Grey Wardens in stopping the Blight. Along the way we learn her background piece by piece, that her mother was actually a servant for an Orlesian noblewoman in Denerim here in Ferelden, but after Ferelden gained its independence she returned to Orlais, taking her mother along, hence Leliana being born and raised in their ways. Yes, she sees herself as a child of Ferelden. After her mother died, the noblewoman took care of her, had Leliana trained in song and dance to entertain her. In a good way, not in the organ grinder's monkey kind of way. It would serve her well when she would go on to become a bard. Leliana is a romance option for both sexes, but Tim only has eyes for Morrigan.
Stop looking at my breasts like that. 'Tis most disturbing.
Bards are more than just minstrels. They were trained to fight and put to secret purposes by patrons in Orlais. Like Mission, she was betrayed by someone she thought could do no wrong, who cast her aside when she was seen as a liability. And as Mission sought to be more by helping Revan save the galaxy, Leliana sought it in the Chantry, leaving all of that life behind. But Marjolaine, the woman who betrayed her, wouldn't allow that. She kept close tabs on her, and when Leliana joined Tim to stop the Darkspawn, she believed that it was to get her revenge. So she sent assassins to attack us.
Stop. Don't kill him.
I'm not so sure we know how to not kill people. We're not terribly good at anything else, to be honest. I mean, well, take a look at this list here. On the left, it's murderer, murderer, accomplice to murder, mass murderer. And on the other side, we've got murderer and murders for a living. Only 3 of these people aren't one, and one of them is a dog. One who will kill anything I tell it to do, to tell you the truth. Anyway, this guy spills it.
Told it would be an easy job. Kill the little red-haired girl. Deal with the others as we pleased.
Kill the... You came to kill me?
We get Marjolaine's location out of him, and the answer is obvious.
Perhaps it's time to settle this score for good.
Marjolaine is indeed waiting for us, with typical Orlesian smugness.
Oh, you must excuse the shabby accommodations. I try to be a good host, but you see what I have to work with. This country smells like wet dog everywhere.
Wait, yes, I see what you mean. Yes, I definitely smell bitch right now, thank you. She tries placating Leliana, and when that doesn't work, she tries to turn us against her. And when that doesn't work, she gets hostile, and soon it's us knee-deep in blood, as usual. Told you that's what we're good at. Not so good is us having to deal with that kind of thing. This whole incident shakes her faith in the Maker to its core.
Maybe I just tell myself he's there to console myself, to know there's someone watching out for me, to know I'm not alone.
Leliana is so mindful of doing the right thing that doing the wrong thing, being pleased at Marjolaine's death, finding a thrill in slaying our enemies. It fills her with guilt, a worry that she's just as bad as her mentor. It takes a lot of talking for her to come around and rethink that, and that restores her faith.
I've found peace in knowing the Maker, and nothing will change that.
In essence, the Chantry had tempered her so that she's something else now, a different arm of Andraste. She's not a Templar following a code and an oath. She's a warrior of faith, following a philosophy to find every ray of light in a moonless night and protect it from the encroaching darkness. She follows an ideal, not with fanaticism, but with devotion. Her beliefs give her something to fight for, but she does not fight for her beliefs. It is, as corny as it may sound, a belief that this world can be better, and she will do what she can to make it a reality, to make it a world worth singing about.
I respect your decision to keep me here, even though I would have gladly stood by your side even to the death. You have been a true friend, and I will be extremely cross with you if you don't return.
Getting back to our spy, yes, he finally admits what's going on, that he was hired by Arl Howe, Logain's right-hand man, to watch the state of Arl Eamon and report back. But all this crazy living dead stuff wasn't supposed to be part of the job. But he is still spying for the enemy who likely poisoned Eamon, and it's highly unlikely that the Arl would suffer an incurable illness at the same time that zombies would begin rising up to attack the village from his castle. Nobody's luck is that bad. Not even mine. So with much grumbling, he agrees to be our Legolas in the coming battle. Every bit will help. So that just leaves Sir Perth up by the windmill in case it turns out to be a dragon. You never know. As with everyone, he wants something from me. He'd like to have some sacred relics for his small company of knights so that they can be shielded by the Maker. Except the priest says she's fresh out of sacred anti-villain shields.
Well, can't you just tell him the Maker will watch over him? Morale is a powerful thing, you know.
You mean you want me to let them think the Maker protects them in a real sense?
Yes, in the sense that actually matters. If it was anything else, we wouldn't have come. That'd be your department. She refuses at first, but after a little persuasion, she agrees to give us some images of holy symbols for them to wear.
Must we do this? The faith that will protect these men must come from their heart, surely.
Well, faith's like a lawnmower engine. Sometimes you just need to yank it a few times to get it going. I'm sure it helps to know that there's something up there looking down on you. Like your little glowy friend? I'm starting to think this spell power boost really isn't worth the hassle. So, all that's left is to check in with Howling Mad Murdoch to make sure we're ready. And I guess between a coarse dwarf and his thugs, a spineless elven spy, an army of completely inexperienced peasants, knights hoping their magical badges will somehow save them, and our drunken blacksmith, let's not forget him, we are as ready as this sad bunch of losers are for this coming battle. Well, zombies are supposed to be slow. Maybe this won't be so bad.
They're coming! Get to your positions!
Okay, that's not the Walking Dead. That's the Running Damned. Needless to say, this is not a pretty fight. First they swarm from the upper path, Then they mount a second attack down where the village itself is. It's a rough and tumble fight. We lose a lot of people, but there's one thing Tim brings the living dead never counted on. Even corpses can go boom. To step out of the narrative for a moment, though, these aren't supposed to be about gameplay after all, but just so you are aware, I don't deliberately do things so that I can make stupid jokes about them later on. I try to play the game seriously. The game just does things sometimes. One is the game insists on showing all these continuous effects during cinema scenes. Now I know you need these for gameplay purposes, they serve as a visual cue, but I think it's reasonable to think that we turn them off when we're not in the shop, the same way that we usually take our helmets off when we go in there. What makes this worse, though, is that stupid wisp spell. That's the first spell in a tree, so I had to take it. I didn't want it. And the AI decides whenever it takes control of Tim that it's got to turn that on. This might have been something that I could turn off. I wasn't sure. I didn't want to waste time looking for it to see if I could somehow. Because, 57 hours to get through of this game. Anyway, this means that at some point during the fight with these living dead, when I took control of one of the other characters to tell them to heal themselves, the game had taken over Tim and said, I better turn on that wisp. That could make the difference in this fight. What's worse is when the fight ends, we are automatically moved on to the next scene. I don't hit a button or anything and say, okay, I'm done. It says, oh, we're done with the fight. Time for the memorial scene. So, enjoy the touching memorial scene as dictated by BioWare.
Dawn arrives, and we survived the night. We are victorious. And though this victory came at great cost, we must remember none of us would be here were it not for the heroism of these good folk beside me. I thank you, good sir. Truly the Maker smiled on us when he sent you here in our darkest hour.
Let us bow our heads and give honor to those who gave their lives in defense of Redcliffe.
Yes, we should show our respect for the fallen. That's why I have a tiny cloud orbiting in a circle above my head. Respect. After honoring our fallen, I meet up with Tegan by the mill. But before we can get into his plan, the Jarl's wife, Isolde, comes running up to us. She wants Tegan to come to the castle, which is great. I mean, we can all go. Much better than the secret passage.
What? Who is this man, Tegan?
I'm your worst nightmare. A mage who's had a very shitty week and is cursed by the god of dandelion spores. After pumping her for some info, it sounds like there's a demon at work within the castle, which is threatening everyone, including her son Connor, and that, of course, is why she insists that only Tegan can come with her, because the last thing you want when dealing with a demon are two experts on the occult. I'll have to take this stupid secret passage.
Perhaps I will distract whatever evil is inside and increase your chances of getting in unnoticed.
That sounds like an incredibly stupid idea, but at least you'll be the one in danger, so I can go along with that. There's a few of the stalking dead down here, but no biggie. I can handle whatever surprises they have in store.
Hello? Is there someone out there?
Oh, fuck
Who
me.
is it? By all that's holy, you!
You're the cause of all this trouble? Wait, stupid question. Of course you are, because it's the stupidest possible thing you could have done. I mean, look at you. You escaped the Circle Tower, have the whole world out there to go to with no phylactery to track you, and your destination is the first city up the road, working for a nobleman whose nephew is the king. Here's a tip for your blood magic. Try to leave enough in your body to keep your brain functioning.
Please, I know how it seems. Poisoning the Arl was a terrible thing.
You think?
I was instructed to by Terran Loghain. I was told that Arl Eamon was a threat to Ferelden, that if I dealt with him, Loghain would settle matters with the Circle. All I wanted was to be able to return.
What? Are you... Did... I... Leaving aside the fact that you are a blood mage, which is why you were going to be made tranquil in the first place, you stage an elaborate heist to destroy your phylactery, get your girlfriend sentenced to a nightmare prison, get me in so much trouble with the Templars that I joined a band of guys psychically linked with an archdemon. Now you're telling me that before I even managed to walk to Ostagar, you already agreed to murder a man because you were homesick. How, Jowen? How can one man contain so much pathetic within his form? You are like some kind of fail elemental. The fact you're even still alive just goes to prove that God is a sense of morbid curiosity. You're such an embarrassment. If your pants fell off and made you fall down the stairs, your dignity would actually increase. By God, you could fuck up a sieve.
Hey, let's not forget he's a blood mage. You can't just set a blood mage free.
Better to slay him. Better to punish him for his choices. Is this Alistair who speaks, or the Templar?
I'd say it's common sense. We don't even know the whole story yet.
He wishes to redeem himself. Doesn't everyone deserve that chance?
I can't take any more of this. I'm going to go explode something over there. Be back in 5. The upshot is that Connor is actually a mage, and there are no exceptions. He has to be sent to the Circle. But his mother didn't want that life for him, so she wanted Jowen to train him in secret just well enough so that he could hide his powers so that no one would ever know. Connor must have done something to accidentally summon the demon and cause all this. So that's another mess we've got to sort out. So we wade through more zombies on our way to...
Please, don't hurt me!
Why am I so often greeted by screams? Probably all the blood on my robe, I suppose. This is the blacksmith's daughter, so good, I got that one sorted out. Head back the way we came, past the corpses, and follow the smell of vodka and vomit. We hack our way through still more corpses until we reach the gate, opening it to let the knights in, and together we can confront the demon. When you said you were going to distract the demon, this was not what I pictured.
So these are our visitors. The ones you told me about, Mother.
Okay, I don't need my doctorate in occult sciences to know that's not normal. The answer to this is quickly revealed. In his desperation to cure his father, Connor summoned a demon and struck a deal with it, keeping his father alive, but now possessed by it. The demon causes a fight to break out, but it's only partially in control because, ironically, the violence he just incited makes Connor run off in terror. Now that he's gone, we're going to need to do something. Anyone have any suggestions? Anyone?
Please, if you'll let me help.
Anyone at all? Anyone? Okay. Jowen, lay it on me here. What's your idea of how to take care of the demon?
Killing Connor is the easiest way to do that, certainly. But there is another way. A mage could confront the demon in the Fade, without hurting Connor himself.
In the Fade? Okay, I'm not hating that. I can work with that.
It normally requires lyrium and several mages, but I have blood magic. Yes, that's right. The ritual I know, it requires life energy. A lot of it. All of it, in fact.
So, someone must die?
I think we should do it. Let it be my blood.
No, we are not sacrificing anyone's life for Jowen's magic. Jowen could slit his wrist with a billiard ball. If we do this, we're going to do it with professionals.
That is an excellent point. One of the treaties is also for the Circle of Magi, after all.
The tower is about a day's journey across the lake. You could attempt to get the mages' help.
Good, then it's settled. We'll go collect some mages from the tower, get some lyrium, and be back before you know it. Jowen, try not to poison anyone while we're gone, okay? Okay, well, not the homecoming I expected, but we're off to the Circle of Magi.